in each monastery there is the school. And for example, in El-Antony here, there were a school here, teaching the monks, because not all the monks are educated. But since they enter the monastery, the fathers take the new one, as an empty.
Yes.
He has nothing in his mind, and which means they tell him, okay, forget everything. Now we are going to fill you with the heritage. And then they start to teach him even the mathematics and the language, and the songs, the theology, the early fathers, everything. Yes, it was till recently the school, it was there, and we still have in our library some school books and notebooks, yes, by monks. And every monk, he should pass the school before he ordained to be a monk. Yes. We have this tradition. It was excellent idea of the monasticism. How is the monks, they are the containers of the heritage.
This is very nice.
Yeah, because if the monks don't preserve the heritage, okay, where we can find the heritage of the church? Who is going to know the everything about the church? Who? The monk, they should be specialized in heritage. And the monastery should encourage the monks to take care of this work of preserving heritage.
And I can understand this, Abuna, because, for example, in the liturgy, there are many things which we do in the liturgy. I copy what other fathers do. Yeah. I see so I do it. I don't understand everything because I didn't get born into this church. So, coming into it new, how can I make sure that I'm orthodox? Only by copying what I see the others doing. I have faith that they are doing the correct things because I know that they are receiving the tradition. If the monks don't care about the tradition, somebody new who comes like me, how he can be sure what he is receiving?
And he can create something new.
Which
is not original.
Which is not right.
Which we can see now, really in the monasteries and in the church, that there are some people that are trying to create something new which it was not exist in the church. And sometimes they don't do the practice which they received it from the old generation because they don't know the meaning and they don't know why. I will give you an example. For example, one of the monks, he told me that he stopped to teach the monks or teach the new priests in the monastery not to give the incense. For example, there's a part of the liturgy which you give the incense under the cover of the altar.
Yes, under the.
And then he said, but what the meaning? There is no meaning for that. I stopped to teach it. But this is very important part of the heritage because it has a meaning. It has a very strong meaning. It had the meaning of how the Marys, they went very early to the tomb of Christ with the perfume. And this is why when you take off the cover of the altar, you smell the incense because this is the smell of the resurrection of Christ.
Yeah.
Which means the tradition which came to us, it's not written tradition. Not all is written. There is some part came through tradition and through ritual things. We should preserve it as a monk as it is. If we have an explanation, it's okay. If we don't have, preserve it till you find the explanation. Make your research, your study, find out why we received it like that, but not to say, no, I have to stop it because I don't know the meaning, and there is no meaning for that. This means we will lose the tradition.
I think it's a question also of truth and spiritual health, because if I say, I am from a different culture, or I am from a new world, I can I can change things as I think it's suitable. This is pride. I am saying that I am a judge. But if I say, like your blind cantor say, if I say, well, I don't understand, but I am only a beginner, I am only new, let me walk in the way of my Father, let me be obedient to what I receive, even if I don't understand.
Exactly.
This is humility. This is a quality of Christian behavior.
Monk's behavior.
Huh? So sometimes I pray in Coptic Psalms. I don't understand all of it because I don't know the language very well. But sometimes I pray it. Why? Just because I could pray in English, but sometimes I take the Coptic and I pray it in Coptic in order to keep in my mind that this is the tradition. Yes. It's not an English tradition, no, it's a Coptic tradition. When I want to understand something, yes, I take an English translation and I read it. But sometimes I stand and I pray with a Coptic Agbeya, for example, because I want to make a sign to God that I accept your Coptic Orthodox Church. I accept it as a holy thing.
Yeah.
So I put myself, like I remember one of the fathers, he said that when you pray, you should put yourself down and the church up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is preserving the heritage, preserves the virtues in the person, the monk or the lay person, preserves the virtues which God put into the church. So if you change the practices, the heritage, you are changing from your own will, and this is not right, Abuna. This is not a wise spiritual behavior.
But what do you think, Abuna, if we talk about the people who are living now out of Egypt, speaking different languages? The title of their church is the Coptic Orthodox Church. For example, in Australia or in America, the Coptic Orthodox Church. If they completely forget the Coptic language, do you think when we say it's a Coptic Orthodox Church in America, for example, do you think it will fit if they forgot completely the Coptic language? It will be something very strange. How you say that you are a Coptic Orthodox Church in America? This is why we have to consider that we should preserve part of the language. Okay, everything now you are chanting or praying in English, but you should keep something from the early fathers.
Well, I remember a story. I don't know if you told me or somebody told me, but I heard that there was an altar in one of the churches, and on this altar there was a rule that only to pray in Coptic.
Yes.
So there is many altars in the churches, and you can pray in any language. But in this one church, I heard that it was a rule always to pray in Coptic, and I thought this was beautiful because this keeps the idea of Saint Mark and Ananias and all those who followed him in Egypt. They start to make a Coptic church because the Coptic was the language of the people.
Yeah.
Okay, we have English and we have French and we have German. We have all the languages of where the Egyptian people have moved outside of Egypt, and we must translate everything because the young people don't get born speaking Coptic now in their home. Yes. They don't. When they grow up, if they become monks, for example, or when they grow up to be in university age, and someone asks them, are you Coptic? What is it? So the identity. What is the identity?
Your identity, exactly.
Then they must have some heritage to answer with. So if they have been exposed, if each of us who is young, if we have been exposed to, for some time, not all the time, I'm not saying all the time, but sometimes being exposed to the heritage pure, then we have an identity. Okay, we can change it, we can translate it on the outside, but if the center, if the core is pure, Coptic, yeah, which our fathers in Alexandria, which our fathers in the monasticism, which they handed to us, if we keep it, either by schooling, by teaching the monks, by practice, by teaching by behaving with the language, with the books, with the art, with the icons, by learning the way of building, to build domes. If we learn all of this by practice with the older fathers, this is a spiritual action. This is an action of allegiance to the church, of accepting the holiness of what we have received.